Yo, what's going on, Guardians? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a build that I've put together for the Stasis subclass for Warlocks inside of the Crucible. Now, if you've been playing PvP at all in the last week, I'm sure you know that all of the Stasis subclasses are absolutely insane right now, but Shadebinder is just sort of a notch above the rest. It's extremely strong because it has a lot of crowd control and utility. And when we start getting into the fragments and aspects, you can start to do some insane things. So I'm going to talk about it and what I've been running inside of the Crucible. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like below and consider smashing that subscribe button for me. With that being said, let's dive right into it. So starting off, we're going to look at the subclass because that's going to sort of form the pretext for everything else about the build. If you guys have made your way through the campaign, you'll have your Stasis subclass unlocked, and then you can start to unlock your aspects and fragments. I don't have all of my fragments unlocked yet. You can do 2 per week. I'm still working on my second one, but we have everything we need here to start getting some insane build potential going. The first thing about it is the aspect ice flare bolts. This is incredibly strong. I talked about it in one of my previous videos, but it's so insane how strong it is. And it says shattering a frozen target spawns seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. So anytime you freeze someone and shatter them, it's going to track and see if it can find another enemy and instantly freeze them. And this will just chain over and over again. And you can get some insane multi-kills just with this aspect. And this is just a passive that's going all the time on your subclass. The first fragment I unlocked is this one right here, Whisper of Hedrons. This thing is absolutely nuts. I went for it right away because it sounded extremely powerful, and I wasn't wrong. It says you gain a bonus to weapon damage after freezing a target with stasis, and it's actually going to give you a 25% damage increase. It's actually insane. It's going to make it so you can do things like 2-tapping with Ace of Spades. When you have Momentum Mori, it'll stack with things like Kill Clip and Rampage on your weapons, and it's crazy the amount of damage you can do. And so when we have that information, we want to make sure that we can freeze as many enemies as possible. The Warlock subclass can already do this through the Penumbral Blast. Your default melee will instantly freeze anyone it hits, and that's going to be a key component of this build. We're also using the Cold Snap Grenade because it's extremely strong as well. It's sort of like an arc bolt grenade. It's going to scan an area briefly and send out ice spikes, and if it touches anyone, they will freeze as well. So the whole subclass is set up to freeze people as much as possible. So now that we understand the subclass, let's take a look at our armor and exotics and mods and how we can really take advantage of all of those elements of the subclass. I'll touch on my loadout a little bit, but really it's not so important. You can run whatever you're comfortable with this build. It's extremely versatile in that regard. It really comes down to the mods that you want to run on your armor. Our exotic armor of choice for this build is going to be the Claws of Ahamkara. This is a very simple exotic, but it gives you an additional melee charge, which will be very powerful here on this subclass because it'll make it so we can freeze targets even more often than usual. So you're going to have 2 melee charges at all times. You can be freezing people left and right, using your grenade, both your melee charges, and getting that Hedrons buff as often as possible. We are using the Radiant Light Charged with Light mod because it gives us plus 20 strength when we pair it with another arc mod. And right next to it, you can see I'm using Momentum Transfer. Causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. So again, we're getting more of that melee reduction, making sure we have as much uptime on that melee ability as possible. Looking at the rest of our armor, I'm just using sort of my Charged with Light package to provide a little more bonus damage. Charged with Light and Whisper of Hedrons won't stack, but you can be using both at the same time, so you have some sort of damage boost going for you at all times. It's actually really crazy. So I'm using Taking Charge, stacks on stacks, and High Energy Fire across 3 pieces of my gear, so I can be getting Charged with Light when I'm picking up Orbs of Light, and I can utilize them with High Energy Fire to get that damage bonus. I'm just using the regular mods that help out my primary gameplay, like Unflinching Pulse Rifle Aim. If you're using a hand cannon, absolutely use those mods, and you should. Ace of Spades and Thorn are extremely strong as well, but I've found that pulse rifles in this particular meta are extremely strong. You have people rushing you and pushing you all the time, especially with Stasis in the fold, and you can sort of stay back and keep your range a little bit with the pulse rifle before you just get froze and completely destroyed. Another quick shout on the class item here, I am using Powerful Friends, which gives us plus 20 mobility, and I'm also using Outreach, where it reduces your melee cooldown whenever you use your class ability. All about getting those melee abilities back as quickly as possible. Using things like Radiant Light and Powerful Friends will buff our stats. You can see I'm rocking 100 recovery and as much intellect, discipline, and strength as I can. That's going to be really important with these Stasis builds because our abilities are so powerful. You want to have them as much as you can. So I hope you guys are enjoying the gameplay in the background. It's just a clash game with me messing around. Of course, this is strong in 6v6, but honestly, I feel like it's even better inside of the competitive game modes. 3v3, Stasis actually doesn't feel that bad. It's a more controlled environment. It's not as crazy. And if you really use these abilities to their maximum potential, you'll be slaying out in comp. And that's important because you can get a lot of powerful rewards and level up your character for the raid next weekend. That's what I've been doing. That's why I put this build together, so I could stomp that comp playlist and level up as much as possible. So give it a shot, try it out. Let me know what you think, what weapons and loadouts you guys are using with your subclasses. I can't wait to dive into my Hunter and Titan. This is just something I put together for my Warlock. I talked about it previously in another video, but I wanted to go really in depth with it here. And now that I've had some more experience, I could talk about it a little bit more. Another quick shout I wanted to give is as you progress, you'll be able to unlock more of those Stasis fragments. They're limited right now to 2 per week, and I haven't quite unlocked my second one yet, but I thought I'd share which ones I plan on unlocking and using in the future. I want to use the Whisper of Fissures Stasis fragment. This increases the damage and size of the burst when you shatter a target, so you can sort of chain a little more damage to surrounding targets. And there's another one that's really strong as well, and that's going to be the Whisper of Bonds. Now this one looks like it might have some negative drawbacks, but it's insanely strong. Defeating frozen targets with weapons grants you super energy. Now I don't know if you guys have noticed, but at the beginning of Beyond Light, we lost a lot of our super generating mods. We don't have things like remote connection or pump action anymore, where our special weapon kills give us tons of super energy. You can make up for that using this fragment. You do lose out on intellect and discipline, but I promise you'll make up for it with the amount of super energy you can generate from this fragment. So that's sort of my future plans for the build, see how far I can take it. Of course, there's a ton of new exotics that we can use as well that I'm really eager to try out. I got the necrotic grips the other night. I'm putting together a build with that, but I wanted to share this with you guys so you can get into comp before reset this week and grind it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, again, leave a like below. Consider smashing that subscribe button for me. Free way to support me here on the channel. But let me know, again, what you guys are running. I'm really excited to see all the new builds coming out left and right. I'm sure there's going to be some crazy stuff. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.